Hello, dear ones, and welcome to day 4 of our 7 days with Spirit. Oh my gosh. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? What's going on in your world? I've been having so much going on in mine. A lot of interesting things, exciting things. I feel like a lot of things are pulling together. They're starting to make sense. So I hope you're feeling that too. I feel like the more the fog rolls away from what we've been going through over the last several months, I feel like I'm getting more clarity. So I hope you're feeling that as well. Today in real time, whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but right now in real time, it is October 28th, 2021. It's also the last quarter moon. And I really love the last quarter moon because it's like that last week to kind of look back at everything that has been happening in the last moon cycle, the last 3 weeks, and see where it's pointing you towards, the next moon cycle. So right now we are in the transition and forgiveness stage of the moon cycle. And for our theme today is Baby, we were born to run, ... Anabasis, and maybe Anabasis, it's, I guess, however you pronounce it. So what I want to tell you about this is I'm feeling like this kind of like pull from Spirit. Oh, I see. They're like, are you going to address the elephant in the room? And yes, we are going to get some messages today from Spirit through the Making Magic Oracle deck by our beloved Priestess Moon. I have both decks actually from our beautiful Anna, one of our tribe members. She really spoils us with lots of decks. And I think did you buy me both? I think you bought me both. Or did I buy this one and you bought me the other one? I don't know. You bought so many and I lose track. Anyway, but I had this one first, and actually this was the first one, the small one, the Making Magic, and then the Oracle one came out. And that one I know for sure Anna got me that because she actually, when they were like, this is literally the first batch from her, like her very, very first batch from that Oracle card deck series, which I always feel really blessed to have. And it just gives, it's basically this, but with a much more intense, in-depth. This just comes just like this with the little cards, but this Oracle deck actually comes with a book. So we are going to be reading from the book because they have amazing messages. The Priestess Moon is literally one of my favorite light workers on the planet. Even though I know they align with the witch, I align with witch, and a lot of us align with witch, I do feel like lately Spirit has been pulling me, because I have so many like quote unquote like witch decks. I was surprised that we weren't using more of those, this past month. And I mean, we did do the pick-a-paw reading at the beginning of the month with that deck, but I just really thought we were going to do more witchy fun stuff. Like I tried to get some more Halloween and witchy decks to use, and they were really adamant. They're like, no. I'm like, what? I've been wanting the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck so bad. It's on my wish list. I've been wanting that forever, but every time I go to buy it, they've said no. So that either means that somebody else is going to get it for me, or it means that I'm just not meant to have it yet, and that's okay. So what they want us to focus on is the magic, not the labels, which, warlock, priest, priestess, it doesn't matter, it's about the magic. And we had a slew of music that came through on this deck, or when I was throwing this reading together and I was getting ready for it. So I'm going to post those to my Patreon page like I did yesterday, and it's public. You don't have to pay to go there. It's free to see that. You'll see like the stuff that's free and the stuff that has the lock on it, and the link to my Patreon will always be in the comments, so you can get a direct link there, and it's $13 a month to join. And we do classes and readings and fun stuff like this. I was kind of hoping that we would do more classes, but I don't know. All of a sudden, my schedule is starting to really amp up this weekend, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, the Anabasis, what they wanted me to talk about that is, you'll see it in the music. It's from a group called Dead Can Dance. They're what they call world music. I love Dead Can Dance. Oh my gosh, I love Dead Can Dance. There are some of their songs that I'm more into than others, but very haunting, beautiful, beautiful band. I love, love, love their stuff. And so when I was looking at the imagery, it was kind of like everything looked dead, and and I was like, at first I was kind of like, it looks apocalyptic. Is there something I should know? And they're like, no, 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 no. They're like, no, it's just like we're in fall right now, right? Like I'm in fall. So, even if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, it's like where I live, it's fall. And so they were kind of like showing like, the death of it. But then there was also one of the songs in there, it was the Beatles, and it was a number one. There was like number one on the album. That was really powerful too. So they're just letting us know that we're about to go into some new beginnings. That's what November is. It's 11, it's ones, it's about rebirth. And so in some traditions and in some cultures, November or Samhain, Halloween, Day of the Dead, October 31st, which will be our 7th day of this series, is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So whatever that, means to you guys. But the Anabasis, what was so profound about it was, because that was the only thing, it was like Dead Can Dance, Anabasis, and this imagery of like these dead, flowers or plants or whatever. But that's what they were trying to tell us. We're also in the Scorpio energy, which is all about, death and rebirth, right? The rise of the phoenix, like, and you don't want to fuck with a Scorpio. Like scorpions are super mellow, like they won't bother you. But man, if they sting you, you're going down. My moon's in Scorpio, so I know that. That's my emotions. It's like, I will be there for you. I will be there for you. I will be there for you. But you fuck with me or mine, I will cut a bitch. Like that's just the way I'm made. That's part of me. That's part of what I have over my lifetimes in human form have collected to be able to play this game, right? If you look at Earth as like a game and we're just little avatars in these like human meat suits, right? It's every lifetime we learn something else and we bring it to the next lifetime. We are not meant to remember everything. That's not what it's for. However, some things we are meant to remember or bring back. So the Anabasis is I'm just going to read you what I found for in different sources for what it means. Now, first of all, it's Greek origin. And I think I forgot to write down the word, but I think it was like Anabasis or something was the Greek origin word, but it means advancement, going on, marching up, like moving forward. It also means difficult and dangerous military retreat, military advancement, expedition, a march from coast to coast into the interior as that of the young Cyrus into Asia in 401 BC. I went to research that story and they told me not to, but if you're interested in it, look it up. All you have to do is put in the word Anabasis, which you'll see it in the title. And then you'll see like where they talk about that. It looks like a really interesting story, but they told me not to bring that into here today. But the last quarter moon, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because the last quarter moon is actually the 7 days after a full moon, right? So it's all about seeking balance, letting go of old things you no longer need. And also it's not a time to start anything new. Like the last week of the moon cycle, it's not recommended that you start anything new, right? So the new moon will be November 4th, and I'm getting from spirit like more like that would be like a good time, to start something new. But we are in, hold on, what does this say? Sorry, I was looking at my calendar. I had the attention span of a gnat. But we've been in the waning gibbous, and now we're going to be, as of today's the last moon, and we will then go into the waning crescent. And what the last moon is, third quarter moon, whichever one you align with, it's like when you see the moon when it's literally like at half, right? So when we see the moon on the new moon, it's dark. There's nothing there. Then we go to the first quarter moon, and only half of the moon is showing. Then we go the next week later, we go to the full moon, right? It's really bright. Then we go to the next week later and we're at the last quarter moon. So it's like the full moon, or it's like dark and then one side is light, then it's all light, and then the other side is light and the other side is dark, and then it goes back into the new moon cycle once again. So there's a reason why we run through these cycles like this, and Spirit wants us to start living our lives more, according to the earth and the cycles, right? they're trying to keep everything the same everywhere. They know that the weather's changing. They know this. They've got experts and scientists and people who've been studying weather for thousands of years, weather patterns and things like that. So they know. We know in history that, through archaeology and all these different forms of animals and humans that they found in ice, and that obviously this planet has been like this before, because this planet doesn't, or this plant doesn't grow here. It would never grow here, but why is it here, right? So the poles change, the earth spins. When Gaia, she's an organism, earth, when she has had her time and her turn, she will go. I remember one time years ago when I was working in politics, and we were working on the Gore campaign when Clinton was still the president and Gore was vice president, and he was going to run for president. And I remember that was such a big deal for the company that I worked in, the political arena that I was in, was climate change. I mean, this isn't new, right? This has been going on for a long time. And I just remember Al Gore saying something, because he did a documentary about it that we watched. And I remember that there was this one part of it where he spoke about how the earth, he basically said what I said, but he said it in more like a scientific way, not in like the witchy, quote unquote, pagan way that we look at it, right? As almost like a religion. He said it in more of obviously the planet, is really powerful and she can take a lot. But he kind of slipped in one part where he basically said these chemicals are doing this to the planet and blah, blah, blah. And then history, people, scientists were like, yeah, but this has been going on for millions of years. And we can tell by this that this aged and fossilized this way. So if the planet is, it's like, because they're just going by what they think, right? Like they're going through, like trees. I mean, you don't know how old a tree is until you cut it down and see the rings, right? It's kind of like the same thing with the earth. It's like if you just keep peeling back the layers, it's like she's, there's a lot of shit on here. Because even when we compost, recycle, we burn garbage, we do all these different things, the earth still has to hold that energy in some capacity, So if some broken, cheap plastic toy from the dollar store is disintegrating into the earth, right, then that is the thing that I look at, like, what does that mean then, right? Because if everything came from the earth at one point, at what point do we start mixing and matching, things together, different earth elementals, and when does it become combustible? When does it become toxic? And that can happen. I actually had that recently. Edward had a situation like that where, he's been my little mad scientist, he's been working, thank you, mail people. He's been, look at special delivery, and says special delivery from Spirit. But, he's been working with all these different plants. He's been ordering all these different organic and natural plants from all over the world. And he's been, making all these things, all these different types of psychedelics to help people, because they've helped him so much on his journey that he wants to do that for other people. Well, there was this one method that he was using. And at first we were like, oh my God, you're such a genius. Everything was great. But there was just this smell that was coming from it. And I'm like, what are you using? I'm like, you've got to be using something toxic. And he's like, well, not really. He's like, I've been using, this bleach stuff, but it's like a natural bleach or whatever. Of course, he's not going to put that in his body, and he would never want to do that to, his people either. So he's like, no, but it happened again recently when he went to light it. And I said, there is something noxious coming off of that is not right. And I said, just because it comes from the earth, it's like if you mix certain things together, you will fucking blow something up, right? And so there's definitely something to be said about that. It's like Gaia is such a powerful entity and energy and organism. I mean, she's just the energy that she has and she holds. It's like, and this earth goes so deep, deep, deep. This planet goes to multiple layers, and it has all these different things. Everything that we need is from this earth. But with trial and error, we find over time what works together and what doesn't. And with this whole analogy being pulled together, that's what Spirit is asking us to do, right? Because the Born to Run, baby, it's from Bruce Springsteen. I'll put a link below if you've never heard this song. But it's such an inspiring song, and the lyrics, and it was written in the 70s and after, the hippie revolution of the late 60s, into the early 70s, where they started to, the age of Aquarius had opened, fully opened, and all of these young people were awakening to the power and the energy of psychedelics and earth and eating healthy and taking good care of themselves after the last 100 years or several hundred years of things being forced down our throat that are good for us, like eating live worms so that they eat the parasites in your stomach and make you skinny. But yeah, that shit would fucking kill you. I mean, when you look at some of the old like ads from like the 1800s and stuff, or from the catalogs, you're like, that was real. You're like, come on, is that a joke? And you're like, no, it's real. I mean, they started to realize like that humans were pretty gullible and that they would do anything. And this has been going on for thousands of years. So now Spirit wants us to start seeing through the bullshit. Yes, she can hold more chemicals. Yes, she can hold like gasoline and things like that. Yes, the atmosphere. But what will happen is the earth will have to realign and fix herself. So if that means that the planet shifts to a point where we have like some massive earthquake, and you know what I mean? It's like, who knows? But they don't want us to be afraid of what's going to happen. Because, baby, we were born to run. We were born to fight. I mean, in this, it talks about advancement. It talks about military, this Anabasis, right? Different and more advantageous ways of moving forward. We are light workers. We are fucking warriors. We did not come here to play small. We came here to help Gaia. So Gaia will help us, but we have to ask her for help, which, what's interesting? I kept wanting to move this so that you can see her name because I wanted to honor her, and Spirit was like, but it's not about that. Like, you can keep the moon in there, but they're like, it's not about the title of priestess or witch or warlock. We're all here together. We've got apophyllite, amethyst, quartz crystal, and stilbite. They came back in. When I tried taking them off, they were like, nope. Working with the natural elements, healing ourselves. We realized Baba finally let us in today to like show us what happened. If Ed had not heard her that day, and just so you guys know, Ed was gone for a few weeks. We needed another separation for us to figure some things out, to work through more of our own personal stuff. And it was so powerful that it was, I have to ask him, he's not here, but I think it was the first night he was back. And he said, did you hear that? And I go, no. And then he goes, you don't hear that? And I'm like, no. And he's got these ears, seriously, like a wolf. And he heard Baba. And he didn't even the second he heard something else, whatever it was, he bolted out the fucking door and he ran. And he ran towards like her sound. And then today he goes, this makes so much sense that she's showing us what really happened. He goes, because that's what it sounded like to me. He goes, it sounded like she was screaming, but it sounded like she was screaming like away, like she was going away and screaming. He goes, whenever she screams, when she's yelling, like, when the neighbor cat or the next door cat, like when they're fighting or they're encroaching in her territory or whatever, he's like, not only is it a different scream, he goes, but she literally, like, the scream comes towards the house because she's usually running in because she doesn't want to deal with it. So she'll like run in the house. So he said it sounded like she was screaming and running, like, or like it was going away. So what she showed us today was a coyote had her in its mouth and by her tail. And because he noticed today, he's like, her tail's broken. I'm like, no. I'm like, Bubba, we're going to the vet, because she hates going to the doctor. She always heals herself. She was like, no, I'm not going to the vet. I'm not going to the vet. We're like, oh, dude. But we noticed as her tail was healing and we got a closer look and she had gotten more of the fur off, like we saw what was going on. And so she showed us what happened. I was like, oh my gosh. But if he wasn't here, I don't know if I would have heard her. I mean, I probably would have. I don't know, but it all happened for a reason that night, that time. I mean, she's been an indoor-outdoor cat for several years now. And she's had little scuffles with other animals, but nothing like this. So, there is magic and power in numbers, and wherever two or more gather. And she's really witchy. I say witchy for her because that's how she identifies herself. But Ed and I are both really magical beings as well. And, he, like last night and this morning, she's been really talking to Ed more than me. She told us recently that she was both of our familiars, and it was just really cool. Like, she's been really opening up and like kind of letting us know like certain blessings are coming our way, and just for all of us to hang in there and stuff. But it was just such a powerful moment where I realized, like, we're listening to each other now. We've quieted the voices in our heads and we're listening to each other. So let's see what messages that Making Magic has for us today. The first one, ooh, safe and happy travel. Oh, lovely. This says protection from harm when journeying, number 25, which is also the number 7. Ooh, look at the moon there. That's a sliver. Safe and happy travel, protection from harm when journeying. So I'm going to, there was a way we had this set up. So there we go. So I'm going to pull this out. Hold on. Okay, so this says, symbol history. The safe and happy travel symbol takes its inspiration from the helm of awe for protection and from the elements symbol for creating powerful boundaries. 4 crescent moons bisect the Alga's rune, ensuring safe travel at night. The elements part of this symbol is similar to the sun wheel or Celtic wheel in that it is a circle divided into 4 parts. In numerology, 4 is a number for strength, stability, and trust. The 4 quarters represent the 4 corners of the world, the 4 seasons, the 4 cardinal points, the 4 elements, and the 4 phases of the moon. The circle in the center symbolizes our planet Earth. Oh my gosh, it's also on page 67. Can we just talk about that for a second? Because that's the number of the witch. Okay, awesome. So the circle in the center symbolizes our beautiful planet Earth. In the divination, the symbol may appear as a reminder to start planning a trip to somewhere you have always wanted to go. Travel broadens the mind and imparts memories to treasure. It helps us to get to know ourselves better and gives a good perspective on our current life, highlighting any changes that need to be made. Be excited and inspired by the journey that lays ahead of you. Get out there and discover this beautiful world. Manifest your dreams. The safe and happy travel symbol can be used as both a talisman and an amulet. As a talisman, it can attract fantastic experiences, good luck, serendipitous events, and helpful people while traveling. As an amulet, it protects from theft, accidents, and illness. Carry this symbol in your hand luggage and/or suitcase. Pair it with the crystal malachite to reassure safe travel by air and road. Working with this symbol helps boost your confidence while traveling and gives you the knowledge that even though you are leaving the comforts of home, you have the fates on your side. Oh, I love this card. Oh, I love this so much. Ed and I have been planning a camping trip. We're gonna see what happens. We've got a lot going on, and so we'll see. But in our dream world, it's supposed to be nice on Saturday and Sunday. So we were thinking about going camping on Sunday on Samhain just for one night and like be able to build a fire and do all that. So I hope so for us. But I will definitely keep this in mind. You may even want to take a screenshot of this so that you have this. If you want to draw the symbol or work with this symbol at all, I'll even, here, I'll put it here so you can get, oops, let me get a better. There we go. So if you want to take a, oop, almost set it on fire. I gotta try to stop setting things on fire. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay, safe and happy travel. That's beautiful. Excellent. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other cards, Spirit? Do you have any more? Ooh, right off the top there. Ooh, achievement number 30. Lovely. Win the award, accolade, or contract. Oh, this bodes well. This bodes well, you guys. Look at that. It's interesting. This doesn't say the moon cycles on here. My other cards that have moons on them tell you like what the moon cycle is. And these I can't really tell because if it's only 4 moon cycles, see how that one's like more of a sliver on that card, and then this one is a little bit bigger. So let's, I'm going to actually look at my moon and see. I'm going to look at another thing Anna blessed us with. Thank you, Anna. So this, that would be the waning crescent. I mean, that's so great. That's so great. I'm like, isn't that what's next? Yeah, you guys. So look at that. And the waning crescent. And then this one is... So that's the waning crescent, and this is the waxing crescent, this moon. So this second card for achievement is the waxing crescent, and it's setting intentions. So this is actually really cool, you guys, because you know what this is right here? This is right now, like, well, today we're in the third quarter moon, right? So it would be more half. But the next, but from now until the new moon, so from this week to next week, this is absolutely positively the waning crescent, which is the rest and restore. So I like that we have the last moon cycle before the new moon, which is next week. And then we have the next moon cycle, the one right after that. So it's like basically these two bookend the new moon, which is really beautiful. So to me, what that says is that go ahead and plan, go, maybe it's to go somewhere for the weekend, maybe it's to buy a new home, rent a new place, whatever it is. I'm hearing like, yes, like that's it, like, or maybe you're just supposed to like go on a journey or whatever. But I kind of feel like this is almost like an internal journey as well. Sorry, I'm hearing a lot of things right now. And also there's certain things that like Spirit is like, don't say that yet because it's going to tie into another card, But I think it's interesting. The next one is achievement, and it's win the award, accolade, or contract. But remember, it just said in this cycle, in the third quarter, was like not to do anything yet, not to make any, whatever. So if it's something that you're looking to do, maybe it's to book your travel now, right? Like I'm getting that now, or book your thing now. And then after the new moon, when we're in this waxing crescent, which is the setting intentions, to do that there. And we'll see if any other cards come, okay? But I just think that's really powerful. So I'm going to read the card. So the symbol history says the achievement symbol features a pictogram that represents a crown and or a trophy and acts as a form of sympathetic magic to attract awards and accolades into your life. The lines point upwards, directing energy outwards to invite acknowledgments and appreciation. If there's a big competition, contract, or job interview on the horizon, this is a good symbol to start working with. Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's what I felt like too. It felt like it was more than just traveling or getting a new house or anything. It feels like for some of you guys, it's a new job. So divination says the achievement symbol is all about recognition for your hard work and the belief that you can deserve to win. The tricky element on this symbol is that it will not respond if you have even 1 ounce of self-doubt. A winner's mindset is important. Work with this symbol by visualizing yourself receiving the award, accolade, or contract. Expect success. Don't just wish or hope for it. It's important to take the time for focused daydreaming and clearly imagine the end result. And since we are a week, I love you, the Princess Bride. Since we're a week away from the new moon, this is a really great time because they said this is the transition and forgiveness, right? So like whatever happened, we need to just let go and move through and move forward like the Anabasis out of the last 3 weeks of this moon cycle. Like don't look back anymore. No matter what happened, it's over. You don't need to look back. Just keep moving forward. That is the biggest thing right now, right? Because they're saying, baby, we were born to run. We were not born to stay stagnant. We were not born to stay in the same place. We were made to run. I know for myself, recently, I said to Spirit, I'm like, this is really hard for me. I'm like, this has been really, really, really hard for me. I have moved, I think 28 times over 49 years in 5 different states. I mean, talk about gypsy. And I love it. I really do. But, there's also a time where like, if I'm sitting too still for a while, I just start to feel it doesn't feel right. It feels really, really wrong. Like I keep banging into the walls kind of thing. Also, the number 3 is about like wherever 2 or more gather, right? So 3 is about community. It's about family. It's also about raising the elevation, because wasn't the last one? What was the last one? 25, which is the number 7. And if you add them together, that's 10, which is the number 1, which is about new beginnings. I'm not stretching. I'm really like feeling like there's something else here, and almost like there's something hidden behind there for you guys. But they're right about that. If you don't believe it's not going to happen, then it won't, right? If you believe it'll happen, it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen, rejection is Spirit's protection. And the one thing they want us to really, really work on is not taking it personally. If we are rejected for something, then it just means it wasn't made for us. And it means that something better is waiting, right? You're wanting to settle for that one thing or that one job or that one person or that one situation. And Spirit's like, yeah, but while you're sitting over here settling, we're over here moving forward in this anabasis, right? Like we're in this advanced, advancement and marching forward. And I think it's interesting that there's so much military talk around this, right? Like, because we're spirit warriors. So they're saying, don't be afraid of who you are and what you have to give to everybody. So we need to imagine, focus on it, clearly imagine the end result. So to manifest your dreams, it says the best way to use this symbol is to place it on competition entry forms, resumes, and contracts. The use of a clear quartz crystal to direct positive energy is also recommended, which we do have this clear quartz crystal, right? And I'm going to put this energy towards the tribe, the pointy end. I'm going to pull the still bite over here and bring this point to our people. Right? It's safe and happy travel. We're ready for this achievement. We've worked our asses off. We've been working our asses off. Okay. So this may bring up feelings of I'm not worthy, or others are better than me, or even this won't work. But it's important to acknowledge that these thoughts exist, then let them pass by, replacing them with optimistic, positive self-talk and affirmations. Do not listen to the naysayers. In fact, when working with this symbol, keep your aspirations private. Listening to others who are not as invested as you and your achievements may lead to negative self-talk and discouraging opinions. You do not need anyone else's energy or thoughts tampering with your goals. Work quietly and determinedly towards your dreams and keep your eye on the prize. You need to quietly keep the faith when working with this symbol. Wow. I said that to Edward recently. I'm like, how are you feeling about this or that? I'm like, where do you feel like, we are? Like, do you feel good about stuff? I started to realize like it's super important for us to be on the same page constantly because we're two different individuals. We both work really fast. And I was like, I want to know that we are on the same page, because if you're not, I'm totally cool with that. But, if we're going to live in the same place, then we have to have our energies aligned in the same mindset. We have to be working towards the same goal, or else it's going to be just like those natural chemicals, right? Those things where Ed was trying to make that psychedelic. And what it was doing was actually giving off a negative energy and a negative, you know what I mean? So it's the same for us. If you're not on the same page at your job, with your friends, with your family, your home space, it's just going to feel like the same thing over and over. And Spirit's like, you worked so hard to get here. Do not give up now. And don't tell people what you're doing. Start secretly, there's nothing wrong with being a little secretive sometimes, especially if you're protecting yourself, right? If you're protecting yourself, that's what Spirit wants you to do. Oh, look at this. The next one is water, of course, because we're in Scorpio season. This is so perfect. Number 18, which is also the number 9, and 9's another one. What is right after 9? 10. So we're almost at completion. We're almost done. We're almost there. So work with the element of water for healing and purification, and also with moving forward, right? The Anabasis is all about forward movement, upward movement, moving forward, 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 forward. That's all I keep hearing from them over and over. Forward motion, forward motion, forward motion. They're saying that over and over and over in my head. And let's see where this moon cycle is. According to this picture, I would say it looks like the waning gibbous. I'm going to go with that. So this is the first moon after the full moon, and it's about reflect and release. So it says work with the elements. And also water is about emotion. Sorry about that, guys. Water's all about emotion, right? So if this is telling you to go back to the reflect and release, maybe there's something in here, that you're not, something in here that you're not looking at, or you're not dealing with, or, maybe you're holding your emotions in really, really tight, like close, like up, like where you can, almost can't breathe. Wait, hold on. What'd you say, Spirit? It's, the pictures aren't the same. I'm going to use my pendulum just to make sure. Either way, that was the message, so it doesn't matter. But is this it? Okay, it is. That's exactly it. So it's the waning gibbous and it's the reflect and release. Also, for some of you guys, look up, I think it's on Moon Giant, or you can even just put in, but find out exactly what day you were born on, right? Like I was born on Monday, Moon Day. My moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water energy. It's about emotions. I'm a super powerful empath. Like when you start to like look at your birth chart, like really look at your birth chart and the days you were born and all that stuff, your life path number, all of those things, it becomes more clear. You start to understand and have a broader spectrum of like who you really are, what you bring to the table, like what you like what your life purpose is even, you know? So for some of you, I'm hearing definitely like look it up. I think I may have told you guys recently that I found out that Ed was born on a Sunday, and I think he told me before, but I was like, that's so interesting because we're such the yin and the yang to each other. And so he's Sunday, sun, right? Sun, the sun god, Ra. You know, I'm Moon Day, I'm Moon, I'm Lilith. It's like we have this like, and it's so interesting because we both have like very, very dark sides and very, very light sides. So it could even be like with your partner, your friends, or your family. It could be, you know, that's why you're not getting along with certain people, or that's why certain things are happening because you're not running on the same cycles. You're not running in the same energy fields, and maybe you did for a time, or maybe, you know, whatever. Astrology has so much to do with our entire physical makeup inside and out. You know, our souls chose this. This was our soul contract. You know, we sat, you know, with the designers of, you know what I mean, and the Akashic record. Like we knew like all the past lives and things we had, and we're like, okay, well, I learned this in this life. Let's bring this through this life. And every single person you meet, even somebody in the grocery store, you're like, I feel like I've known them my whole life. You know, you're almost like, you know, you're like, friend me on Facebook. You know, it's like those kind of things. I'm not on those anymore, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's probably true. You probably were, and they were there for you, um, to help you in that moment. Also, they brought my eyes to see how the flame is kind of like over the purification. It's almost like some of you don't want to let that go, but that's what the crying does. It cleanses all that shit out. So let's go into the book. So the symbol history is the element of water guards the emotional realm of feelings, daydreams, and intuition. It is associated with the color blue, the season of autumn, and the direction of west. Oh, I love that we're in autumn right now in Scorpio. I mean, come on. In the 16th century, manuscripts written by Pericles, Paracelsus, spirits called undines became connected with this element and are known today as elements of water. Undines, Undines, often known as mermaids. Oh, see, that's easier. I was just like, I'm like, maybe they'll tell us. Thank you, priestess. So the mermaids guard all bodies of water from springs to lakes to mighty oceans and can gift humans with psychic purification and cleansing. Water is nourishing, healing, and refining, and yet water can also exert a powerful force. The tarot suit of cups is related to the water element, and this suit focuses on love and relationships. Work with the element of water to reflect upon and understand strong emotions and to work with your intuition. So also they wanted me to bring up on that, like you can call in the mermaid energy to work with you too, like while you're going through that. The other thing I got from the psychic purification and cleansing is praying on your water before you drink it. That is so important. Every time we are blessed to live on a beautiful well, we have well water that comes from we are in the Mount Rainier Valley in Washington. So it's some of the most cleanest, most beautiful, delicious water I've ever had in my life. But even so, every time I'm filling my water bottles, I always thank the water. I tell the water I love it. I give it respect. I honor the water. I say to the water, thank you for nourishing my mind, body, and soul, and the mind, body, and soul of anyone who drinks this water. Because we are made up of 70% water. Water is vibrational. They have done studies on it. I actually have a really cool deck that's snowflake decks that they did. There's a lot of science behind how much water can affect us. And considering that most of the planet is also made up of water, that means something, right? So work with that energy. So if you're holding things in, it's like your body can feel the vibrational energy of feeling stuck, choked, abandoned, like any emotions that you're feeling, your body almost like festers it inside. So they're saying like that's what tears are for. It's for us to release it. That's why they're water. That's why we have water that comes out of our tear ducts and it's salty, right? It comes from, if you ever taste your tears are salty, right? It's like, it's because it's run through your body. But when I drink water from the well, it's clean and clear. It doesn't taste like salt. But as the water is exiting, my eyes, it's salty. Or when we urinate, right? It's like not nice. But at the same time, the toxins that your body creates when you urinate can kill, the bacteria. And you know what I mean? It's like we were made with these physical, awesome avatars to be able to self heal and self soothe and self create and all that stuff, which is why Bubba won't go to the vet. Even though we're like, oh shit, maybe we should just go just to make sure. She's like, I'm going to be fine. We've been raking her. We've been working with her. She's been working on herself. She's like, I'm 11 years old. Like, like leave me be. Yeah. She's like, just give me time to heal myself. She knows what she needs. She's an animal. If she were in the wild, right, she wouldn't go to the vet, right? So anyway, so divination, it says, water inspires us to seek connection with others and facilitates deep emotional healing. The keywords include unity, peace, inclusiveness, and joy. The water symbol encourages us to spend time with people who uplift and inspire and leave us feeling light of heart. By the same token, be mindful of how you feel after interactions with certain people. If you are drained, exhausted, or worried, then limit your time with these individuals. Your heart needs positive healing and happiness, and this symbol appears as a gentle reminder to make this a top priority in your life. Manifesting your dreams. Work with the water symbol to mend a broken or bruised heart. Imagine your heart center filled with a gentle rose-colored light and know that you are worthy of love. Visualize your heart as bright and resilient. Ask the angel of healing to seal the area with curative golden light and imagine a beautiful restoration of your heart chakra taking place. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, do we want to pull any more cards, Spirit? Do you want me to speak of this? Okay, there's a little personal message on the bottom for me. Okay, so I'll look at that when we're done. Okay, are we done now? Ready to wrap it up? Do you want me to speak of this? Oh, they do want me to share it. Okay. Do you want me to read from the book? Okay. Is this going to go to a second video? I don't think it's going to go to a second video, but if it does, as always, I've been trying really hard to keep these short because everything I read is like, people, that's why they have these shorts, because most people don't have an attention span these days for more than 30 seconds to a minute. I know that's scary, but it's true. And so some people can't even hang in for like a 30-minute episode or a 40-minute episode. Like they have to break it up. And I'm like, really? I watch readings sometimes that are like an hour per pile. And I'm like, I feel like it goes by fast. So I think it's just different for everybody. But anyway, so there's that. So I thought this was just for me, as you know, because Lula's Labyrinth, I thought it was like a special message for me. And they're saying, no, it's number 12, which is also the number 3, right? When you put it together, raising your energetic vibration and enlightenment. Ooh, what's this one? So this is the refine and focus. It's refine and focus again, but this is after the first quarter moon, and this is the waxing gibbous. So we had the waning gibbous, and now we have the waxing gibbous. So that's really powerful. And they do want me to read the book. So let me get this situated. Okay. Hold on. They wanted me to, when I looked down, it was 43, which is also the number 7. That's my life path number. Okay, so labyrinth. The symbol history. The earliest known labyrinths are carved into stone and found in Spain, Greece, and Italy. They have been dated back to 2000 BC. Later on, they became a popular symbol in medieval Britain and Scandinavia, appearing in 12th century religious manuscripts. Labyrinths were carved into the stonework of early Christian churches and laid out in tiles or marble on the floors for people to walk. The labyrinth symbol in this context represented going on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land of Jerusalem. And it symbolizes our journey through life to find our soul, our spirit, our essence. Essentially, our journey to become whole again. The labyrinth reflects the twists and turns on the sacred path that life can take us. Labyrinths have been used as tools for prayers and meditation for many centuries and by many different religions. That's why when I was trying to think of something for lulakelly for my name, like when I was, and Lulakelly is my full name, but I go by Lula. And when I was putting all of my stuff together, my YouTube channel, when I was getting Instagram and all that, I was trying to think of what rhymed with Tallulah. I kept going for, and I had a store in Portland called Tallulah's Treasures. So I was like, should I just do that? Like, cause that is kind of treasures. People are coming to get readings, it's like a little treasure hunt or whatever. And they're like, no. And then like one day it just came out of nowhere. And I was like, Lula's Labyrinth. I'm like, that's so awesome. And of course I love David Bowie, and Labyrinth was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So that's where my brain went until I saw the definition. And if you go into my About section on my YouTube page, you will see that I took everything off of there and put the meaning of labyrinth, because I realized, even when I took it then, I was like, ooh, that's so cool. Like, that's such a great name. But now I feel like Lula's Labyrinth means so much more to me. When they called me to title my Patreon channel, The Magical Medium, and they told me that I was the magical medium, I was like, okay, well then why don't I just change my YouTube channel to The Magical Medium? Why don't I, blah, blah, blah. They were like, no, because it's about the people's journey, So for me, I love it. I feel like if I get to be the labyrinth keeper, so to speak, for those of you who are on your spiritual quest and journey inward, it's like, oh my gosh, like I take that as such an honor. I'm honored that you're here. I'm honored that you're part of the tribe. I'm honored that you're honoring yourself in, us working together, on this journey together. Some of you have been with me for years. I didn't come out of a box like this. I was a very, very, very different person. I would have laughed at this kind of stuff, or I would have been like, no, come on, So the divination is: work with this symbol when you want to understand the higher meaning behind a seemingly meandering life path. Life is a long journey with a fair amount of surprises and shocks, and sometimes it can be hard to make sense of it all. The big questions, such as, why am I here? What is my life purpose? Or even, what is the meaning of life? Can be tackled when meditating upon this symbol to gain insights and revelations. It has been said that life lessons go in spiral form. Sometimes we need to circle back to an issue with a fresh new perspective. To manifest your dreams, metaphorically, walking the labyrinth in your mind's eye can open a new awareness on how to deal with reoccurring negative patterns. The labyrinth symbol can help foster understanding and acceptance, and assist us in making peace with the past while looking forward to a brighter future and seeing how perfectly your life is unfolding. Ooh, when I looked down, it was 4644. So that's our angel number, 4644. I was wondering when that was going to happen, which is also the number 18. And we had that before, which is also the number 9. So yes, it's time, my dear ones, raising your energetic vibration and enlightenment. That's what this card is about. So letting go of the past and moving forward. You got this, you got this, you got this. Let me see, are there any more messages? I just heard Ed just got home. So let me see if there's any more messages. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? Nope. That's it, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed day 4 on our journey to Samhain, on our 7-day journey, right? Because it is, everything's about, not everything, but look at, we have 12 months in a year. We have 13 moon cycles. We have 7, right? We have so many things of 7 in our path as well. So I just think that that's really powerful. So whatever any of this, however this aligns with you, this message, this is a mass message for all of us. What did you say, Spirit? Oh, yes. And because we are in transition and forgiveness in this last quarter moon, this 3rd quarter moon, don't forget to forgive yourself. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We are not meant to be perfect. Forgive yourself. And while you're healing with yourself and other people, it's going to keep changing and growing. My partner and I have been on this journey for 6.5 years. I said to him the other day, I go, isn't that interesting that you're 49, I'm 49. 7 times 7 is 49. We're in a transitional year of 2021, which is the number 5, which is change, transformation, chaos. I said, and our relationship is in its 7th year technically, right? Like, we'll be together 7 years next May. So it's, everything goes in cycles and transitions. And I love that this, there's 7 days of a week for a reason. We have, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What is yours? Saturday's Saturn, Thursday's Thor's Day. Look them up, find out, research, find out exactly. Just say, like, put in your birth date and the year and say, what day was this? And it'll tell you. And start researching it. Start looking into your own labyrinth within. Start meditating. really, really going within. The answers, everything that you need. I am just here literally as a channel to give the messages from our ancestors and spirit to you guys. We honor the ancestors by healing and growing and changing. That was the whole purpose why they gave their lives. Us too. We are our own ancestors. We were here before, right? We just keep recycling and laying the groundwork for everything. So don't be hard on yourself during this time. And wait till you see the songs. I mean, the first one was "Baby We Were Born to Run," but another Bruce Springsteen song played in there, which was so wild. That doesn't normally happen within such a short period of time. We had a Christmas song in there, you guys. I mean, come on. It's like Spirit wants us to know, like, we are in the holiday season. No matter where you live, whatever time of year, even when you watch this, it's like, well, we're in this beautiful holiday season energy. Embrace it. Embrace the love, the laughter, the joy. And for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, take that time to, start regrouping so that we can go inward over winter. So when spring comes, we will be ready for the next year, for the next challenges that lay ahead. Okay? So until then, I love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Blessed be. Oh.